All roads to the Trump assassinations lead to one thing alone. So we see some similarities between the shooters. Both were donors to Act Blue, a PAC for the Democrat Party. Both managed to get within 500 yards of Trump. Both attempts were followed by the mainstream media kind of oddly downplaying the severity of the situations. And most importantly, Crooks was in a 2023 BlackRock commercial, and Routh was in a 2022 commercial for the Ukrainian militia that had been trained by the American CIA for the past decade and is funded by BlackRock. Here's the explanation. So for context, Ryan Routh was a construction worker in North Carolina that moved to Hawaii, has a house and a business there that wasn't making any money, so he was listed as unemployed. But he really cared about standing for Ukraine, so this former construction worker with no income, operating entirely alone, ran a website offering Americans $1,200 a month to fight for Ukraine, was illegally moving Afghani soldiers fleeing from the Taliban in Pakistan and Iran to fight for Ukraine, dropped everything for months at a time to fly himself to Ukraine, and flew to DC to lobby for Congress to recruit soldiers for Ukraine. He also has about 100 criminal filings, including a 2002 arrest for possessing a weapon of mass destruction, as most construction workers do, and he obviously still has weapons, and not only is he still allowed to vote, but to vote in North Carolina as recently as this year, even though he's a resident of Hawaii. And like most construction workers, he had a hunch where Trump would be on a Sunday afternoon and was waiting at the golf course for 12 hours ahead of time, even though Trump's schedule was off the record. The most probable explanation is tied to BlackRock. So in 2022, Routh was in a commercial that advertised the Yazov Battalion, which is a Ukrainian neo-Nazi militia trained by the CIA and funded by BlackRock. So what links Ukraine, the CIA, and BlackRock? Well, ever since the Cuban Missile Crisis, the dissolution of the Russian Empire has been an American priority because they have nukes aimed at us. Now, BlackRock essentially owns the U.S. government, considering the top economic advisors for the Biden-Harris admin come from BlackRock. BlackRock wants the oil and rare metals in eastern Ukraine because it owns companies that sell oil and rare metals. So last year, BlackRock paid Ukraine $500 billion in exchange for all of Ukraine's main assets and put Ukraine in permanent debt to BlackRock. And since BlackRock owns our government, our CIA is BlackRock's personal military. And troubled souls like Routh and Crooks are groomed to be useful pawns that exist to look like random eccentric people and take the sole blame for carefully crafted crimes like attempting to extinguish the primary threat to the mega monopoly that not only runs our government, but the world. Hence, after Crooks died and was supposed to be examined by the House Task Force, the FBI took the body and cremated it in secret. Not only law enforcement knew until 13 days after. Nobody sat his parents down and asked them why their kid had bombs or how he got the money for this, and they never will. The crime scene was scrubbed. So if it wasn't obvious before, it should be obvious now that your government, the CIA, the FBI, the Secret Service are a unit. Not because they're all buddies and love each other, but because they're owned by the same people. So anyone that threatens them, regardless of party affiliation, is a target. So no wonder for years people have said Trump would be assassinated, and no wonder they refused to give Secret Service protection to a Kennedy. This is the mega monopoly versus the people, and always has been. But thanks to private media, we know that now. So the attempt to shut down any resistance is going to be stronger than ever. This is the totalitarians versus we the people. So fight.